I'll wander to the front. Always the awkward part of doing these things. Okay, so I'm Kevin from the Coit Road Farmers Market. I'm here with Stacy from Central State University, and the reason we're here is we're trying to deal with the fact that we can't create any programming this summer for live cooking classes and educational stuff. So we've decided to try to move it to video. So this is going to be our first little test run, just recording it on my phone, and hopefully we'll be moving into some more, advanced production as we work our way through this season of unknowns. So we have Stacy here from Central State University. She's going to give you a little primer on salad dressings.
Well, thank you, Kevin. So again, I'm Stacy Stengel, and I'm with Central State University Extension, and I normally do programming with adults, with families and youth, and we learn to plan, cook, and save money at any budget, but as well as making any of the foods, they're ultimately nutritious and healthy for you. So we make them also very short and quick. So realistically, the basic salad dressing that you're buying at the store has a basis as a vinaigrette, and it consists of vegetable oil, apple cider vinegar, salt, and pepper, and then you just mix them together. So we're going to do that together here. The first thing you need to do before you get started is you always need to wash your hands. This would be in any instance, not just because of now we have a lot of illness, but washing your hands for 20 seconds with warm running water and soap, whether it's liquid or a bar soap, and then 20 seconds like singing happy birthday twice, or there's some other new renditions because people have gotten very creative with the virus and being at home. So either way, this would not be the time that you're using hand sanitizer instead of washing your hands. Since you're making it at home, you should have running water. And so you would wash your hands, dry them on a paper towel, something disposable, not the same old kitchen towel that you've been using over and over and over. And so then we'll bring it together, and we will start with the vegetable oil. The vegetable oil, I brought a couple different ones. I have a blend, which is a canola, sunflower, soybean, and I also brought an olive oil. And the olive oil, I have extra virgin, but they also have just regular plain olive oil or extra virgin olive oil. And it all just depends on how many presses the oil had gone through. So obviously, the more presses, the more expensive it is. And either one will suit us. So in this case, I have my blends. So we're going to measure it here together. You have a choice of different bowls or things that you want to mix it in. I prefer to make it in something that has a lid. That way, once I have everything in it, then I can just put the lid on it and shake it up. Put it in the refrigerator if I have any left over, which if you're going to refrigerate it, you should use it up within a week. And or if you have any jars at home that you've washed and hopefully sanitized or something very clean, and you can put it directly into that, put the lid on top, and then shake it up. And a lot of the canning jars also have measurements on the side of it, so you will have an idea when you make it each time of how much it fills up to. So in this case, we're going to use one of my canning jars. And the first ingredient, like I said, is 6 tablespoons. So this is time to get out your measuring spoons, especially if they've gotten pushed back to the back of your drawer, and measure out 6 tablespoons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. the next ingredient is the vinegar. I brought with me some apple cider vinegar. I put it into a smaller jar because I had a big giant gallon jar, and so I didn't think that I needed to have that with me today to do one demonstration. So in this case, if you don't have apple cider, you can use other vinegars as well. Some will lend different sweetnesses or tang, depending on the flavor. And if you have some vinegars that you have that are flavored, like for instance, you have a hot pepper vinegar, that's going to give a different flavor to your basic balsamic as it is. So 4 tablespoons, using the same ones. 2, 3, and 4. So you will see that it'll separate a little bit because obviously that's what happens with oil, is oil and anything that has water in it are going to separate. And that's fine because we're only getting started. The pepper, you're going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon of both salt and pepper. So that's your smaller. And you want to be careful. This would not be 1/4 of a cup. It would be 1/4 of a teaspoon. Know your. Whoop.
That's a good one. Is
this one's a little spicy.
yeah, one of the things I learned early on: don't measure over top of what you're cooking.
And that would be why I brought this little container over here to measure on top of it, but I didn't. So we got our basic our basic vinaigrette, and you just shake it up, and it's going to be a little cloudy, and that's good because that means that the oil is getting dispersed into the vinegar and it's carrying around the salt and pepper. So there we have our basic, and you'll see it makes about that much, which I would guess, let's see, if it's for the liquid measuring cup,
3/4 of a cup.
3/4 of a cup? You think that's 6 ounces? I'd say 2/3.
Yeah.
So close. So close. So then, we have our basic. So that would be, and like I said, combine, mix. Let it set for 10 minutes before you use it so that it tastes, you get all the flavor throughout it, the salt and the pepper. And then mix it again before you use it. And you can use it on a variety of different things. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take it one step further, and our basic vinaigrette, we're going to make it into an Italian dressing. So in this case, we're adding Italian flavorings, the garlic powder, Italian seasoning, and crushed red pepper flakes. And with this, if you don't have any red pepper flakes, you can use chili powder or whatever else because it's just a pinch, and it's just to give it a little bit of heat and flavor. So we just open our vinaigrette back up, and the teaspoon of garlic powder. And if you want to, I have garlic powder with me, but if you have granulated garlic, or even if you have fresh garlic, and you want to mince it up and put it in or crush it, then that's your prerogative. But in this case, we're just going to use the garlic powder. Joe, do you want to add something?
No, I'm just checking it out.
You look very intrigued. So the 1 teaspoon is going to seem like a lot, but it's not. It's going to give it a good flavor. And notice I'm using my bowl again so that my spillage is going over into the bowl instead of into my jar. And then we have Italian seasoning, and this was last weekend when I was here at the market and picking up supplies for today. I was talking with Kevin about the different seasoning spices and the difference between using dried ingredients and fresh ones. And I did pick up a couple herb plants, but I didn't bring them back with me today because it was too cold. And I didn't want them to get harmed in the drive and cold weather. So, seasoning and red bell pepper or red pepper flakes and garlic powder in here, and you just shake it again. And again, you're adding this to the basic recipe that we made with this just vinegar and oil, and then the salt and pepper. And now we've added the herbs and the garlic powder. And now you have an Italian dressing. So that's how quick it is that you can make it up. And you can use it on a variety of things. In later segments, we're going to make some different recipes that we're using this as our base. The honey mustard, if you like honey mustard dressing, all you need to do is take the first vinaigrette, basic vinaigrette, and add some spicy brown mustard, like from the Stadia mustard, and some honey. And you can change up these values of how much depending on your own taste. So start with these good numbers, and then there's a balance, but you may in fact want it spicier and more flavorful, or you may in fact want to step it down and make it less and just have it much more subtle.
Yeah, once you have the basics, you can go anywhere. If you want to go Greek, then it would be like oregano and lemon. If you wanted to go, depending on which direction you want to go, there's a couple of the most common seasonings in any given.
Right. So, instead of Italian, you might even make it oregano that's much more pronounced in how it tastes, and then also spicy. You can in fact put way more than just a pinch, and make it a much spicier dressing for you. So the other recipe we're going to make is a ranch dressing, and this is a homemade ranch dressing. And in fact, it's going to be pretty healthy for you because we have the onion, the salt, garlic powder, parsley, but we also have plain Greek yogurt and buttermilk. If you wanted a thicker dressing, after you see how we make it, you can in fact switch out and eliminate the buttermilk and use 2 cups of yogurt. The difference between plain yogurt and plain Greek yogurt and just plain yogurt is in fact Greek yogurt has been strained one more time, so there's less liquid in it, so it makes it firmer.
Which you can do at home.
Yes.
If you have regular yogurt or you can't find Greek yogurt, put it into a fine strainer, and let the water drip out for a little while, and you got your Greek yogurt.
Not your colander though that has big holes in it, because then you don't have any yogurt at all.
If you have cheesecloth, that's good, but a fine mesh strainer, a sieve of some sort.
That's why they charge you more for the Greek yogurt, is because they've done more work with it and strained it longer. And buttermilk, in case you didn't know, is naturally low in fat because it's not milk with butter in it. It's the milk that's left over after they make butter. So,
which means it doesn't have fat in it because the fat's in butter.
Right, so it's naturally low fat. And then you have your different spices, which are adding a little bit of nutrients with the vitamins and minerals. So the first thing we do is combine the spices. And in this case, the ranch dressing makes a bit more. So we're going to put it into a bowl. I had my original one that I made is in fact in a large quart size canning jar. But in this case, so that you can see, so we have buttermilk, and it's low fat, like I said, as well as I brought plain yogurt, which is thinner, and I brought Greek yogurt. So we're gonna take out the Greek yogurt and just measure, first of all, the spices. So back to we need 2 teaspoons of minced onion. And it doesn't, I have onion that's minced, I have onion that's chopped. You can use fresh onions if you want to take the time to do that. I have chopped onions, or you could use onion powder if you want a really thin and smooth dressing. But in this case, we're going with the minced, which mean that they're pretty small, but they're dried anyway. And again, over top of And then we have a half a teaspoon of salt. So we're going to step up the salt a little bit from the last one. One of the nice things about the classes that I offer is that they're 9 weeks, and all of my participants make different recipes, and as well, the part of the program is that you get these incentives that you use, that you get to take home, and it doesn't cost you, and all my programs are free. And they're offered different locations, or I can come to you, and if you have a group that's interested. Then we have a 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, so down to the little one. Again, you could use garlic cloves that you mince up or crush. You could use garlic granules. Again, it's all about the texture that you want to have your final product to have. And then the parsley flakes are hiding behind my oil. So the parsley, you want to have quite a bit of parsley. So in this case, it's a tablespoon. If you wanted to step up the flavor, you could use Italian seasoning. And move beyond. Parsley is a lighter flavor. And so we're going to combine those. So we have them all mixed in there. Move it around, get them mixed in. And then we're going to move on to, now we have 1 cup of yogurt and 1 cup of buttermilk. The yogurt, we're going to use our dry measuring cup, even though it's not really dry, but it's still firm. And you're going to want to level that off. If you wanted to make more of this dressing, then you could double the recipe. So you would just put twice as much of all of the ingredients. Or if you wanted less, because you're not sure if you're going to use all of it within a week, then you just have all the ingredients. And so our buttermilk, we're going to measure in our liquid measuring cup. The correct way to measure is to actually bend over and look, not hold the cup up. So we have 1 cup. Pour that in. Buttermilk, it seems like it's pretty thick, and you would think that it does have all that fat in it because of the thickness, but it doesn't. So then you're just going to mix it thoroughly. And then in this case, because you have these different flavors and ingredients in it, you're going to want to chill it for a little bit so that the flavors all meld together. And the flavor will intensify the longer it sits. So while you use it immediately, it may not seem like the ranch dressing you get from the store in the bottle, but as you let it sit longer, then those flavors and seasonings are all come together, and you're going to notice a more intense flavor then. And then you just take and put a lid on it, or you can put it into a container like I did. In this case, because now I can pull it out, shake it, and then pour it right out for me. And like I said, if you want to make it thicker, because I did my original one, I made with regular plain yogurt, so it is a thinner dressing, and this one is going to be a little bit thicker because I used Greek dressing. If you want it really thick, or if you want to use this as a vegetable dip, then just put 2 cups of yogurt. So the uses, the things that, the ways that you can and use the different dressings besides obviously veggie salads. Those are the lettuce-based salads, which we'll talk about and make later on. Veggie salads, which don't contain lettuce, but have other different vegetables in it, and these can be the basis for either one of those. Tuna and chicken salad, you can replace, instead of using mayonnaise, you can use the ranch dressing. Either one, the tuna or the chicken salad, which we're gonna make that recipe in another segment. And a grain bowl recipe that I have from the USDA and Teen Cuisine Ideas. So if you have any ideas that you would like to give to us, get in touch with Kevin and we can add that to our segment possibly and do performances or
Feel free to pay attention, ask questions in the comment section of this video when it gets posted, and we'll be there to answer questions. I'll keep an eye on it.
All right, and thank you.
All right.